have to get the editor and everything by Monday.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I feel you. People like, can you send me this? I'm like,
Yeah, especially when it's like, I need about Monday to run it into Thursday's paper.
of course.
On a Friday. Okay.
Okay,
I can do
that
that.
goes.
Yeah, I'll do that for you.
Yeah, so make sure you tell me, like,
Exactly what. Yeah, and then tell me what picture. I know you sent the 3. Tell me which one out of the 3.
Okay.
The smiling
Yeah,
one.
the black one or the black one or the
They're
white one?
both really good, but I think for that paper, probably the black, because it's print black and white.
Tell them you are busy. Airplane mode.
I've been knowing drama before TNT, and don't believe these rap niggas on BT. Who me?
See, people think I'm crazy when I use a straw for my coffee.
I use a straw. I don't want to stain my teeth.
Yeah, I do
That's
that.
hers.
Well, I don't do it for the stain, it's just, it ain't as hot.
Well, my
But
teeth.
she uses a straw though.
I use a straw.
I always try to shoot it behind my teeth.
With the straw.
With the straw?
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm like,
if you let it just think about it, I mean, what's the point, right?
Right. Well, my teeth stain pretty easily, and I like my pretty teeth.
Yeah.
I had these braces for 4 years. I don't got time for
Can't
them.
make it like that. Yeah,
So I'm making a point to wear it. I mean, I like
where your coffee?
I wear my coffee.
I got about 20 seconds.
Are you lying? Oh, I didn't know you were like,
Yeah.
I'm like,
I told y'all was going live. What's up?
Is this my good side?
You look handsome, look.
All right.
Let me make you turn red again.
Stop it.
I'm like,
There you go, y'all.
hey everybody, it's Trade Universe at DFWRadio.com, and today I have 2 special guests here. Dr.Trillion Small
Hello.
and Juan Garcia, right?
That's right.
And today we're going to be discussing what's coming on March the 5th, and the Day of Empathy. And the Day of Empathy is it's the light of people impacted by the criminal justice system. We uplift their voices, and we win over the hearts and minds toward the idea that transformation is possible. And these people are survivors of that been addicted to opiates, other drugs, incarcerated for mental illness, and then also too the ones that have that needs a second chance because they have a criminal background. And then too, community members, the crime and public safety, and the violence. So they're here to discuss what's coming up March the 5th, and I hope everybody goes to it because I think everybody needs this, and we need to help each other to order to make a better community. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Dr. Trillion Small. Sorry.
Yes, Dr. Trillion Small. Thank you so much, Juan, for having me,
Yes.
for having Juan Garcia on
Thank
the
you.
show. We are so excited. Thank you for those who are listening or those who will be tuning in. I don't know if this is going to be rebroadcasted, but thank you so much for your time. So my name is Dr. Trillion Small. I am an adjunct professor at University of Texas at Dallas. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist and author of several books. And right now, what we are here to talk about is I am a juvenile justice advocate, really creating a voice, creating awareness for those who are impacted by the juvenile justice system.
Yes, and I know it's a lot of people that's out there because I even know friends too as well that needed a second chance, and some of them do come out of it. I know for one, I'm not trying to put my sister out there, but I'm proud of her because she got a criminal background. She didn't know what to do. She went to school and made a big change for herself, got a degree. She's an art teacher. She does art, even though sometimes she has a hard time, but she got a second chance because after she went to college, she never got in any more trouble. So did that happen to you, Juan Garcia?
It did. It sure did. And so I can honestly say that as far as coming from a person with having a background, it all does start with self.
Right.
And so as simple as I can make it, that's essentially it. As soon as people can realize that they can believe in themselves and ask for additional people to help network, so they could believe in other people, and of course for them to believe in them.
Right.
It's a win-win, and it's the fastest that they find out that there's a win-win instead of a win-lose, then we can get progress.
Right.
Yeah.
So, kind of, I don't know. I know y'all don't want to get into it, but I know people want to know a little bit about you. So, give us a little tease, so I can come to the vet, please, because I want to know a little bit more.
Of course, of course. So a little bit about me. Locked up at 19. I got out on, so March 3rd would be 2 years being locked out, or being out.
Oh, really?
Right. So from 19 all the way to 27, 26, I was just being incarcerated that whole time. I lost all my 20s. For a long time, I was just, but people being in their younger stages of life, especially in an environment like that, you don't know what to do. And long story short, coming out, you gotta know when to get your feet running.
Right.
Because if not, the world's gonna keep running without you.
Right.
And so that's what I figured out, and I'm pretty sure that's what your sister figured out.
Yeah, she did. Me and her had a heart-to-heart talk,
That's part of it.
and I had to get real with her and say, okay, you're gonna have to straighten up your act. You're gonna have to stop hanging around people that don't mean you well, and you need to use your talent. And her talent was art, so that's what she did. And from that on, she's out there doing what she's doing poetry for people. She's doing a lot. I'm proud of her. So I tell her to tell her story, because people need to know that people get a second chance, even though sometimes she does get hard. She does too always get a hard time, but if you push through it, don't worry about what people say, because it's a will and a way for everything. So that's how I think.
Right.
So
yeah, and one of the reasons why I want to have Juan on with us today talking about this event is, like you said, it's important for people to hear the stories and how the mass incarceration it truly does impact. And you say you were 19, right? So it's important for us to not just talk about interventions, right? Juan, he is a hustler. That's what they call him at Cornbread Hustlers. It is one of our sponsors, actually, of the event. Sherry Garcia is the founder, and what she did with her company was say, I want to give formerly incarcerated individuals a second chance at life and a second chance at being or effectively re-entering into society by providing them with vocational training, professional development training. And Juan is one of their awesome success stories, and I specifically wanted him to be on to emphasize the importance of what we need in our juvenile justice system. And so Day of Empathy, it's a National Day of Empathy, founded by Van Jones. Van Jones, if you guys know, he is a CNN political commentator, and he is the founder and CEO of Cut 50. You can go to #cut50.org, and he's also the founder of Reform. And if you've seen Jay-Z, Jay-Z's one of the influencers as well with Reform. And so what we are doing is creating awareness, especially on this day. It's called Day of Empathy, March the 5th, 2019. The whole point of Cut 50 is to raise awareness for those who are impacted by incarceration, not just for those who are impacted by incarceration because they are the offenders, but we also want to raise awareness to those who have been victimized. And specifically here in Dallas, Texas, we are focusing on how do we decrease the school to prison pipeline, right? How do we address that? And what we're going to do at this event is really highlight what President Trump actually was indicating in the State of the Union of mass incarceration is an issue. These are the things we need to do to improve our system by having evidence-based programming. He shouted out two of those who were impacted.
So he really was involved.
Cut 50 with Van Jones, the organization that I am the Texas lead. This was one of the largest bipartisan bills that was passed. And Cut 50, Van Jones, was one of the organizations that was responsible.
Well, he get half of my hug then.
Well, you know what? Right now it's all about empathy.
I'll give him a whole
and
hug and a high five.
At least for this, we're gonna give him the whole hug, right?
Well, just a half of it, because he needs to bring it on with everything else.
Yeah, I feel you.
Right.
It's too soon for
Right. Yeah, but for this organization, we are giving him a whole hug for signing this.
Right.
Because this was one of the bills that people said, no, he's not going to sign. But it passed with huge numbers of bipartisan support. And President Trump was the one that gave the final signature. And in the State of the Union that just happened, he shouted out two individuals who were impacted by mass incarceration.
Right. And
Yes.
I think it's too. This is important because innocent people is always getting locked up, and that's sometimes it's not fair.
Right.
So I just think this is a good. When I was reading it, I was like, oh, this is so interesting.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna tell my business, but
Don't tell your business.
I can't
tell
do it. We
your
on
business.
live.
Y'all close your ears.
No, we on live. I can't say, but I was reading a lot about it, and it was very interesting, and I think it can do a lot of good things.
Yeah, blacks and browns are disproportionately incarcerated.
Right.
And we need to do something about that, right? And so Dallas, Texas, and Texas at large, I would say, has been doing a phenomenal job, right? So
Right.
this event is not to say you're doing this wrong and you're doing this wrong. It's to say, wow, what are we already doing that's working? And what can we continue to do to espouse those programs? But then also, what can we do more to help those who are vulnerable, right?
Right.
They are more likely to be in alignment with the school to prison pipeline because they live in poverty,
Right.
because they have a mental health disorder,
Right.
because they live in an area where police are patrolling, not just for safety, but to get counts, right? And so I'm wanting this event to be where we have just about every organization that's possible that can attend to come and rally together and say, what can we do to continue to support our youth, support our browns and our black youth who are disproportionately being incarcerated?
That is true.
And what can we do to restore them and help transform them rather than say, go into prison and figure out your life. And then now they end up incarcerated and then they're there for 20, 30, 40, 50 years and
Not fair.
not fair at all.
Because
Or
half-
7.5.
right.
Or 7 and a
Whatever.
half.
Because some
Right.
people, because I know by working in mental health, a lot of times the people that schizophrenia, bipolar, they don't even know that they're schizophrenia, bipolar. They don't even know how to control themselves, and so a lot of times they end up incarceration, or they end up in trouble a lot, or really hospitalized, and people don't explain to them what's going on.
Right.
That's not fair.
That's not fair.
At all, because people can't help mental illness. That's who they are. So I do think this is a good message for people, and I think this is a good thing. But I do want to read this because I felt like on the website it did have a good message. It says, without empathy, we cannot achieve meaningful policy changes that keep our communities safe and our families at home, and in our economy strong. And that is true because a lot of times the parents are in incarceration. A lot of times the parents have mental illness. And a lot of times they keep on in and out of jail, and it just affects everybody as a whole. So if we don't come together and empathize with a lot of things that's going on with other people, how can we change the policies?
Yeah, they used to have this whole mindset of we need to be tough on crime. So we're going to be hard on, if you have this one little minor non-violent crime, we're going to be tough on you to make sure you don't, do it again. But we found that, and they have found that just punishing and these harsh treatments, especially in juvenile centers, it doesn't work, right? You have to have empathy. You have to have love. And that may be a little optimistic, but I truly do believe if we love these individuals, and some of them may push that away, but if we can, support them with love instead of with punishment, I believe eventually the restorative initiative, the transformative desires and ideas that we have will truly come about.
May I add on to that?
Yeah.
So yes, love always love and support. I can say that upon being released, I had a lot of that. It's helped. I've seen people who had multiple levels of that. It affects them a lot. So I can say that it's when it comes down to showing the love and support, as long as you enforce a good form of character development, that's really what it comes down to. Just what the question is, what's the right character development? And I'm pretty sure we can figure that out. I got a good idea as far as like if you come for people coming out of previously being incarcerated and moving into society, it's a whole new mind frame.
Right.
That whenever you get locked up, it's a whole new world.
Right.
Like there's laws that are written in words, and then there's laws written in concrete.
Yes, it
And
is.
so if you think about that, and if you're ready to prep the mind before it comes out, and then keep on feeding into that personality, they're going to show potential. They're going to show results.
Yes,
That's
I,
good. That's good.
I like that what you're saying because it is true, and I think a lot of times the reason why people get into incarceration is it has to do with the word empathy. It has to be love. We have to show that affection sometimes because sometimes people in homes don't come. You don't get that affection at home.
Right.
So if you're not getting that affection at home, so what are you gonna do? Sometimes you don't know what else to do.
They outsource.
Yes.
Right.
They outsource. They outsource. They look for that approval, that support, that love.
Yeah, we kind of talked about that off air too, of father figures in the household and all of that.
Right. So that's, I don't know if we have time for that, but that's something. That's going to be a big key for this revolution.
It's a big key with females because sometimes we look at, and the only reason why I'm saying that is because, well, I don't mean to, I don't know, every time I come on this air, I always go back towards me, like to express, telling me my story sometimes. Being sexually abused as a young child, when I first went to college, I didn't know what to do. I was lost. Didn't know. I didn't care about life, didn't care about myself really. But when you come across somebody I came across a guy, his name is Michael Jackson. I know that sounds weird. But
Michael Jackson?
Yes, he's my practicum instructor, and he made me see like a different light towards a male because I used to always didn't see a light. I used to always hate males. I used to always whatever. But he showed me the fatherly love or whatever he needs to. So I got that because I never got that when I was in the house. And I always was told like something different. But it took like millions times to keep on iterating everything.
Hours.
And, yes, and every time I talk to him, he always say, "I love you, beautiful girl," and I'm like, really? So
that's the character development.
Right.
That's what he invested in you.
Yeah.
And you're shining now, so that's why I was like,
right.
There's the proof.
Right, but I talked to him the other day, and because he went to go get surgery for his knee. I said, well, you better start eating healthy and do what you need to do because once I get married, you are walking me down the aisle. So I just like when people show you like different things about themselves, and that makes you look at the father figure a little bit differently in different males. I don't know why I get emotional, but I can see that.
Because it's real.
Yeah.
It's real, and it really does change lives. It changed your life.
Yeah, it did, but yeah. But I can understand what you're talking about because I think sometimes females go out and looking for different love in different areas, and I think males do the same thing too.
Of course.
And you see that a lot, especially in mental health. So that's probably why it's all this incarceration going on because they don't know what to do with themselves. So I'm glad that this is here, and I'm glad that y'all doing what y'all need to do. And I'm glad President Trump, he signed that bill, even though I couldn't stand him, but now I look at him a different way.
It's all about empathy. So that's the thing, when you hear stories, sometimes we can easily just look and say, I don't like that, and you can even see that in just mass incarceration. We can be very biased, but then when you hear stories that then create and generate empathy, you're like, oh, okay.
Because it gives you a face. It gives you a better description to just.
Well, that empathy word is really big. It goes a long way. And you looking at the source, there's so many words for that word empathy. So I like it, and I think everybody wants to be loved too. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No,
but yeah, I felt like when I read this, I was really I was like, dang, this is so neat. I'm so happy because I come across this all the time. And I think y'all could connect with a lot of people out in the community because a lot of people go through this. We help people every day that goes through this, especially with mental illness.
Especially in Texas,
Yes, and they be wanted. And some of them, and I get on the phone with them, with the clients and with the members, they just spill all their, they just sit there and talk to me, and then they just say, oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. But thank y'all for coming.
Thank you so much for having
Tell
us.
everyone where they can get the tickets at and show so they can support.
Yes. So the event, #Day of Empathy Dallas, will be hosted March the 5th, 2019 from 6 to 9 p.m. We will be at Capitol Factory. It's off Oakland Avenue. If you go to Day of Empathy Dallas, empathy.eventbrite.com. All the information is on there. If you purchase a ticket, all of the proceeds from our tickets go directly to the youth. Some of the youth will be present there. They don't know this, so shh, don't tell them. But all of the proceeds from our tickets we will divide it and give them to some of our students that will be there. We're going to award them. We're going to show them, hey, we as a community support you. We have other surprises for some students that will be there as well, providing scholarships. But yeah, March the 5th, 2019, 6 to 9 p.m. at Capitol Factory. Again, you can go to dayofempathy.dallas.eventbrite.com. If that's too complicated, just go to my Facebook or my Instagram or Twitter, which is my name, Trillion Small, Trillion like million, but a little bit more, Trillion Small.
Okay, you better
Trillion
claim
Small.
it.
Okay, girl. I mean, yes, my bank account is catching up with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's or if you can't think of my name, just go to #DayOfEmpathy and you will see it. Also, I want to really, really emphasize the importance of you coming out, because your ticket, even if you can't come, your ticket is going to a student who will, trust me, appreciate your gift to them. And so that's what we're doing. Go ahead, Juan.
So I just wanted to say for everybody who's been system affected, I personally will say I'm going to be there for sure.
Yes.
But I would say for those who are system affected, to check it out online at least, just because you know it's affected you, it definitely affected your family, and there's a way to help, and we're gonna make sure that you got that option. Don't think that everything's over yet. So
It's not. It's
Yeah.
a
It's
will
not.
and a way for everything.
and there's always gonna
My auntie always
Got it.
tell me that. She said one door shut, the other door shut, and it's not one way to do everything.
Right.
She tells me that all the time. Put your head together.
be.
But thank y'all for coming.
Thank you so
problem.
much for having us.
And y'all gonna come back, right?
Oh, we're coming back
Got it.
after the event, and we're going to really give you a full in-depth conversation about the event and about this topic. And if you need
You got
assistance,
it.
what to do, Juan will be back. We're going to give you the whole night, unless he's like famous by then and
Stop
can't,
it.
can't come.
All right, we done make you blush like how many times?
At least 6.
But hey, definitely we have some awesome people that are coming out, right? We have Judge Birmingham coming out. We have some amazing restorative programs. Judge Birmingham. We have Cafe Momentum coming out. We have Momentous Institute. We have Dallas ISD. I mean, you name. We have some good people. We have a couple of people from the DA's office, John Crusoe's office. We have some of those people on the panel. Judge Birmingham, as well as Duran Hill. I mean, we have a lot of good people. So you want to be there? Juan will be there.
I'll be there.
Yeah, she'll be there.
Yes, I will be there.
Cornbread Hustle will be there. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure.
Cornbread Hustle. Yeah, Sherry Garcia with
Sherry
Cornbread
Garcia.
Hustle.
Cause
Shout
you're a
out to
little
Sherry.
hustler. I need to get on your
Hustle,
hustle.
As long as it's legal.
When I read that, I said, did this really say hustle?
Cornbread Hustle. Yeah, so if you want to hear the story behind that, you got to come to the event.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay.
Garcia.
Good
You,
discussion afterwards. too.
yes, you coming back.
I
You
will be.
telling me. I'm nosy like you told me. Okay.
Yeah, you
All
got
right.
it.
Bye, everybody. Tracy first.
Bye-bye. Bye, y'all, too.
See, I told y'all I could go long.
I know we
We're good.
We got 22 minutes. Come on, first time.
I actually put two songs.
You heard that on-
Those are at the end of the credits. You know how
That
it
was-
Bro, you're good.
Right.
Y'all did so good.
So you come back after.